Welcome everyone, I'm Ricky from Tech Talk and I'm very excited to be bringing you the unboxing and first look of the brand new iPhone 11 Pro Max. So this is Apple's flagship model for 2019. It comes in 4 color options, and that is gold, space gray, silver and the midnight green option that you see here. And they've changed the packaging as well. Now this is darker, it looks a little bit different to the iPhone 11 packaging which I have here. And make sure to watch out in the description for a video link to the unboxing of this device that we'll be doing separately. So the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it's used Pro name. I've gone for the Max as I wanted the bigger size. So on the actual side here, you've just got iPhone in a green color as well, or this sort of khaki sort of looking army color option here. On the bottom, you've got an Apple logo in the same green sort of color option. And on the back here, we've just got a bit of information, but we're going to go through loads of specs anyway as we're setting up. We've got 256GB storage option. There are 2 other storage options, which is 64GB or 512GB. 64GB shouldn't even exist in my mind with no microSD cards. It seems to be just taken up very quickly. 256 worked really well with my XS Max, and hopefully it should do just as well with this one. So as you can see, the delivery man sort of messed this up a little bit, but you do have a little tab here that you need to pull. And that will take off that for you. You do have an embossed image of your device here, and it's texturally different as well to the camera lens. Looks really nice. Apple have put a little bit more into their packaging. Hopefully they've put a little bit more into their phone as well. So lifting the lid, sat on top and looking straight at you is your brand new iPhone 11 Pro Max. So we're going to sit that there. So designed by Apple in California. You should know what's in here by now if you've watched my channel or other people's channels. So you've got hello. So it's a fingertip guide just telling you how to use your iPhone. So actually design-wise, not too much has changed at all. It's a lot more internal stuff, but we'll have a look at that anyway as we go through. You've got your SIM tool, so dual SIM option, so you can use either an eSIM and then an actual physical SIM, so you've got a dual SIM option. Warranty information, and then some Apple stickers. So I saw people complain that they didn't color match. That would have been a nice touch for the Pro variant if they would have color matched. Underneath, you've got some wired lightning earpods here. You don't get the adapter either, so you might have to go and buy the adapter if you use the adapter, but these are lightning connection. So what we've got here is a USB-C to lightning connection cable. This is for charging our iPhone. I already have this cable that charges my iPhone from my iPad, as the iPad has gone USB-C. I'm really surprised that this iPhone didn't, but it may do in the future. Then also you've got a new style power brick here, 3-pin plug here, so you've got that pop-up motion, which is really helpful. You've got a USB-C connection here, so this is a new sort of connection now you see with your iPhones. So gone are the day of that actual USB-A plug socket, so you'll put in your USB-C to lightning. Also, I'm used to this if you've got the new variant of the iPad Pro that uses USB-C, and this means it will charge quicker with 18 watts worth of charging straight out of the box, and you don't have to go and buy a new charger, which is really helpful. So that's all that's in the box. Let's move this out of the way and enjoy our brand new iPhone that's sitting here. So sitting that to the side, let's take off this, and of course we'll do it very, very quietly. And there's not one on the back, and you get to see the new triple lens setup here. Just on the back of our device, a couple of things that I just want to talk about here before we get into the setup phase and actually talk about more detail here. First of all, you've got your new triple lens camera setup here at the top. Looks really nice, it looks really elegant from Apple. It looks better than some of the rumoured renders that we saw here. Of course, it doesn't look the best, but always they'll be improving and always changing. But I like the setup option they've gone for. The Apple logo has moved down and in the center and a very focal point. We'll talk about why that is in the center and more of a focal point a little bit later on. Also, largely I had loads of people complain saying it had iPhone and different information down here at the bottom. Doesn't seem to say that anymore, but there are just a couple of little logos, very faint here, and hopefully you can see them, but they are just very faintly sort of edged into the glass down here at the bottom. Coming around, the stainless steel actual banding around your device looks really nice, really elegant design as well. So let's power on. So all the buttons are going to be in the same place here. Nothing's really changed hardware size. It's more actually internally it's all changed. Obviously the design is a little bit different here with the camera setup on the back. I just love this color. So if you've bought one of these, what option have you gone for? Have you gone for gold, space grey, silver, or the midnight green? Have you gone for 64 gigabytes or 256 gigabytes? Or have you gone for 512 gigabytes? Have you gone all out? So hello, and we're into the setup of our iPhone here. So the first thing I noticed when I actually bring this phone around is actually the weight of the device itself. It's actually a lot more heavier. It weighs 226 grams. So it's got a nice weight to it. So with the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 11 Pro variants, these are going to be running iOS 13 straight out of the box. And of course, iOS 13 is full of new features, and we're going to be talking about that in dedicated iOS 13 videos and iPad OS 13 videos. Also new tvOS, watchOS as well, and including new macOS. And now we can go through the setup phase together. Come into your first section here, and this is going to ask select your language. But there is an accessibility option that you can use. So the side button down here on the right hand side, press this 3 times.
Voiceover on. Setup. English. Button.
You can then select which options you want to use and then double tap.
Select your country or region. Heading.
There we go. And then we can go through and use the accessibility feature there. 3 quick taps.
Voiceover off.
Will actually turn it off. And then we can carry through the setup anyway, because I know how easy the setup is, and also we can just transfer our data from a previous device. So let's go through the rest of the setup. So United Kingdom. Then you have the option of quick starts. This is where you can bring in another iOS device and it will transfer over your information, but we're going to set up manually. So it's going to ask us to find our Wi-Fi connection. You then have data and privacy from Apple, as you know, is always high. Then we can set up Face ID. So I'm going to set up Face ID now. And what it would do is ask you to look at Circle. It has, first of all, how to set up Face ID. And that uses the True Depth camera here, the new setup that you have in the True Depth camera. So we're going to hit get started, and I'm just going to bring it to the side. That's Face ID all set up. Then you can select a code to use as well. You can change that here if you need to. You can change the options that you want to use. It will ask you to repeat your code just to make sure you've got it correct. So you've got apps and data. This is about bringing over your information. So you can restore from an iCloud backup, you can restore from a Mac or PC, or you can move data from Android. And then you've got the final option of don't transfer apps and data. So I'm going to see if there's any iCloud backup. Once asking for an iCloud backup, it will actually ask you then to log in with your Apple ID. Apple ID is needed for iCloud, it's needed for the App Store, it's needed for FaceTime, it's needed for iMessage, Apple Wallet, so many different options. Find My, which is where you find all your devices. It uses so much, so please log in with your Apple ID. If you don't have one, you can then create one as well. Once you're signed in with your Apple ID, it will just say it takes a couple of minutes to set up. Then finally, what it will do, once it's actually all sort of synced up and said it's all okay, it will give you the options here of the backup you want to choose. You've also got older backups as well, and then you can go back and do the other way as well. Next is asking us, is it okay to keep your iPhone up to date automatically with the iOS updates? Yes, that's fine. Location services, again, that's fine because I want to find the best location services. Apple Pay, do I want to add Apple Pay? I'm going to set up Apple Pay a bit later and transfer my cards over later on. Siri, yes, we're going to use Siri. Screen time, do we want to know about all the screen time that we're actually spending on our devices? Yes, it's good, so I do want to know, but sadly mine's quite bad. iPhone analytics, yes, that's absolutely fine. Then you have app analytics, I say no to this one. True Tone display, so you can see, hopefully you might be able to see the difference here. If I bring it up. So the True Tone display here will automatically change the temperature of the display depending on the light you are using. And then here is a new option. So do we want light or do we want to go to the dark side? Light or dark? Finally, in iOS 13, you have a dark mode. Next up is display zoom. So you have the option of display zoom here. We're going to start as standard, or you can go zoomed, but it's showing you little previews as well, which is really helpful. Now it's about your navigation and the gestures that you need to use with your brand new iPhone. So to go home, you're going to swipe up. To show you applications, you're going to swipe up and hold, and that'll show you all your open applications. Quick access controls, swipe down from the right-hand side. Welcome to iPhone. Swipe up to go home. So our iPhone is all set up and ready to go, and in the dark mode looks absolutely great. So coming across here, you do have some applications that you may want to remove if you don't need them. Also, you can use the iCloud backup and bring down the iCloud backup of your previous device if you're moving from iPhone. You can also transfer from Android, which I showed you in the setup phase, but it's really nice to have. So if we pull down here, one thing I do want to show you is the quick sort of switch you can do between light and dark. So just a simple little tap here. So let's go through all the new features that we're going to find on the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. First of all, let's start with that new Face ID unlock system. It's a new generation, which means it can unlock from more different angles and more on a flat level ground. So you can see to open up your applications or to open up your notifications just at a glance instead of bringing it more to your face. With Apple Pay as well, I believe it's going to be a lot quicker. So first of all, the display. It's a 6.5-inch display, same size that we've had before. It's a Super Retina XDR display, so they're adding in the extra bits. It has an OLED multi-touch display, offers HDR. The resolution is 2688 by 1242, which gives us a pixel density of 458 pixels per inch. Its contrast ratio though is really impressive, where it is 2 million to 1 contrast ratio. The True Tone display as well, which I showed you with a wide color display of the P3, and the True Tone display is really good where it adapts to certain lighting and it will change, which I showed you during the setup. It now has haptic touch, and it's lost that 3D touch, but you can still sort of long press and you'll still get the options come up here. Just a little bit new, a little bit of a new way of doing things. It has 800 nits brightness and then 1200 nits HDR peak. So that's really good, really bright here. And if I just bring this down, put this all the way up, and then obviously with HDR content, it'll be brighter as well. But it's a really bright display, and for me, that's really good. But obviously that will eat into your battery. It comes with an IP68 water and dust resistance, maximum depth of 4 meters up to 30 minutes. Really impressive. So where it's changed is on the inside. It has an A13 Bionic chip, 3rd generation neural engine. So the power and performance is going to be really gained from this. And by doing that, it only still retains 4 gigabytes of RAM. Then we turn around to the fun part of this device, and that is its brand new triple camera. They're all 12 megapixels. You have an ultra wide, a wide, and a telephoto. So the ultra wide is 2.4 aperture and 120 degrees field of view. I'm really digging the ultra wide photos at the moment. You can get everything in your photo, whatever you want to do. You then have a wide, which is f1.8 aperture. You have a telephoto, which is f2.0 aperture. You have 2 times optical zoom and a digital zoom up to 10 times. Video recording is phenomenal, as we've known from Apple anyway. It's always been really high. 4K video recording at 24, 30 or 60 frames per second. 1080p at 30 or 60 frames per second. 720p video recording at 30 frames per second, an extended dynamic range for video up to 60 frames per second. You have optical image stabilization, wide and telephoto. They've also included a brighter True Tone flash. Slow-mo videos supports up to 1080p at 120 or 240 frames. Time-lapse video with stabilization. Then you also have this new cinematic video stabilization, 4K at 1080p and 720p. You can take 8 megapixel still photos while recording 4K. Turning around to the front here with our brand new True Depth camera, you've got a 12 megapixel camera, f2.2 aperture, portrait mode with advanced bokeh and depth control, portrait lighting with 6 effects, neutral, studio, contour, stage mono, high ketone light mono, and you've got Animoji and Mi emoji, so you can have fun with them. And also you can turn it landscape as well, which will give you a bit wider angle as well, which is really cool, and I'm looking forward to seeing how well that does. 4K video recording is now available on the front camera as well at 24 frames, 30 frames or 60 frames per second. 1080p recording is at 30 or 60 frames per second. Slow motion video support up to 1080p at 120 frames per second. You've got next generation smart HDR photos for extended dynamic range for video at 30 frames per second, and cinematic video stabilization, 4K, 1080p and 720p. Wide color capture for photos and live photos, and also you can do these slow-fies as well, slow motion selfies. So everything I've read there, you're going to be worried about the iPhone battery. A lot of people worry about the iPhone battery, but Apple have really worked on this. So now the battery inside this model is a 3,969 mAh battery, but it will last up to 5 hours longer than my iPhone XS Max. Video playback up to 20 hours, video playback up to 12 hours streaming, audio playback up to 80 hours, and 18-watt charger included in the box for the first time, as I said. So that is all of the new things that's in the iPhone 11, plus there is so much more, and there's so many more features that I want to show you, but today was just the unboxing, the setup and the key features. My impressions first of all was the weight is a really good solid weight. Did get a little bit warm here around the stainless steel sort of framework, but it looks really nice. I really like this midnight green design. Impressive that Apple have gone for a different color. We've also got an extra camera. I'm digging the ultra wide cameras now on smartphones that I test and use all the time. The Apple logo has moved down in more of a center point, and this was because potentially there was reverse wireless charging, but actually is not actually working at the moment. But I believe someone said that it's in there ready to use. They just need to switch it on. So that will be interesting to see if they bring that out in a new feature or if they will save it for the 2020 models. Other than that, the iPhone is pretty much similar, and the 2020 iPhone is the all new, all singing, all dancing complete change, but this one has taken a step up and we're looking forward to seeing how well it does. So with our iPhone all set up and ready to go, let me know what you think down below. I want to hear from you. Are you getting a new iPhone? Which new iPhone are you getting? Which color are you getting? And what do you think of the iPhone and my video today? Please leave a comment down below. You know I'm always grateful and I always try to reply to them as much as I can. Thanks always for watching, and if you're new to Tech Talk, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you ring the notification bell to stay updated with all of my latest new videos on the iPhone 11 Pro Max and of course the brand new iPhone 11 as well. For me, Ricky, I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.